Amen. Mm. Mm. Oh,
Project.
yes,
Argument.
my classmate, one of my classmates was also asked me.
How was that?
Um, what we did was what we kind of talked about last time.
Hmm.
Um,
There you go.
it felt very detailed in some ways of her little thing that she'd done, because we also need to do other than so-called doing the observation. Yeah, from our observation, we put it into the Padlet of what we, and then have our classmate comment on it of like our progress. I think it's the part about what I would use during the assessment, like observation of the kids part. That one is not really sure I would be using. Last time I had used some like questions to get a little bit background from about from the parent and the teacher about the kid. Because I don't really get to see the parent because the parent they don't get to really come into the school, so I can't really communicate with the parent.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay. Just to get some background information.
yeah, for that part. And then the observation would mainly be in the classroom, not at their home, so it will be in the classroom.
I see. Okay. So what's the next step?
I'm planning to try to ask the one of those teachers on the daycare campus, um, can I observe this maybe this week? I just observe, go to one of the classroom to observe the kid, and then from there try to see which kid I can choose, and then send out the legal consent form for the parent to sign, and then just really start the observation part of it because that need yes.
Okay. And how can I help you today?
I think. from this part is because like when I was really, I kind of know what I'm trying to look for. Maybe what we had talked about last time. Those ideas. Um, like how would I really approach the like observing that? I think how will I really observe those things I'm trying to
Oh, like how to make sense of your
of
observation.
what that I'm trying to observe for that little part, like when I'm there, because like when I was there, those when I did those observations, I was kind of confused what I'm really looking for, even though I kind of have an idea what I'm looking for. I'm not sure what I'm really looking for.
Okay. So remember when we last met, we talked about kind of like what you can focus on, right? Um, those are anything that you have covered in class. See if you can see it occurring in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, it's everything from the space,
Mm-hmm.
how it's set up. Do you have a piece of paper?
Mm-hmm.
Would you like one? So, right, you're looking at probably the space.
I think it's like I was in one of the classrooms, preschool classroom before, but the other one that I might be in is really new to me. I never really observed that classroom. Even though I kind of know some of those kids, I haven't really been in that classroom to observe the teacher teaching the kids and stuff. That well, because that group of kids I kind of know, but the other one, the like the older of preschoolers, I don't really know them, so I'm not sure which really group I would really choose to really do that part.
Okay.
That's where I'm kind of stuck still to like really kind of be in there to do observation, like which group should I really choose? Because kind of one I kind of know how the teacher teach,
Mhm.
the other one I don't really know.
So there's two ways to approach this,
Mhm.
right? One is you can go by what the assignment is looking for,
Mm-hmm.
right? To identify what you should be looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is we can talk about just like overall, like what I would look for,
Mm-hmm.
right? So let's see first if your instructor has anything that he or she wants you to look at. So it's,
For the presentation, so it's kind of like overall,
Mhm.
but I think maybe the rule would be most sense.
purpose observations. Here we go. Target. Candidate clearly and adequately describes the observation tools. Candidate clearly and adequately describes the observation tools. So what tools did you use? That's one.
Mm-hmm. I
Um,
think for that part, it's just I wasn't really sure what kind of tools I would really be using, even though I might use the notes and then the questions, and then what else I might be using, like a third one for that. But I'm not sure.
we'll go over them.
Mhm.
Let's first like highlight which ones you need to use,
Mhm.
what things you have to observe. So tools and approaches used. So tools, approaches. Adequately describe the observation tools and approaches used. Checklist, rating scale, and one other. Anecdotal notes, time sampling, event sampling, diary notes, audio video recording, interaction with caregiver, whether candidate interacted with child, etc., the types of data collected are described. So, and then description of data. So this is a list of things,
Mhm.
approaches used, so checklist, right? Scaling rate. Do you know what those things are?
They're kind of similar. One is just the numbers, and then the what. I also created both this one for the younger ones, and then this is like for preschool age.
So this is an example of tools that you might not use both,
Mhm.
right? But
Yeah.
that's an example of a tool that you'll use in the observation. So whatever tools you use, whether it's, that scaling, notes, whatever that you're bringing, if it's recorded, then video, audio, any tools that you're going to use when you're observing someone.
Mhm.
So that covers tools. You're gonna observe, you're gonna
Yeah,
describe
I know.
those. And then approaches. For approaches says anecdotal notes, time sampling, event sampling, diary notes. Those are tools. Audio, video recording, interaction with caregiver. Whether candidate interacted with the child. The types of data collected aren't described. So then approaches, like think about how, like, are you going to be seeing the child interacting with the teacher or no?
I think since I'll be in the classroom to observe the kid, they'll be interacting with their classmates and the teachers, so like it's both.
So describe one, teacher interaction with the student, and then two, student interaction with other students. Think about what strategies the teacher is using. Have you heard of things like front loading, things like that?
I think yeah, the strategies the teachers be
So look at the strategies she's using, look at his or her interaction with the children,
Mhm.
and then look at how the students are responding, how they're interacting with each other.
Mhm.
Then you gotta collect data and explain the data, explain what you're seeing, right? And one way to do it is to connect it with material you learned in class. For example, if you see front loading, explain that. Explain that when you saw the teacher communicating with students, she was front loading. Making connections with class material. That's what you should be looking for
Okay.
in your observation.
Mhm. Mm.
The difference between this one is that if you want the whole grade, you gotta describe your data.
Mm.
So describe what you saw, the approaches. What were they? Well, if you, for example, like going back to the example I provided, if you see the teacher talking to the students and you see that it's a strategy, identify that, explain that that it's a strategy of teaching. For example, that she was front loading.
Okay.
Connect it to theories or information you learned from your readings from class to make sense of your observation.
Okay. Um, I think if I were to use the so-called those little questions I have,
Mhm.
like to ask the parent and the teacher, I'm not sure like what I have is okay because when I had those questions last time around, it did give me some background knowledge on the kid, but I wasn't fully it didn't really give me a lot of information.
So, in order to answer that question, you gotta think, what type of information do I need? And then ask the right questions so you can get that information.
Yeah, because I didn't really get the questions I really needed that time. It seems like for the paper and the presentation.
So it seems to me then that you would have to either re-interview them or next time you're working on an interview, pay attention to those type of questions you need to ask so you could get the information you need.
Yeah. This was also for the teachers last time I asked. or some of the questions.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I've never taken a class in early
Mhm.
childhood education. I don't know, like, what are good questions to ask.
It was just what I asked these questions was to get the background knowledge of the kid and like how they are doing in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
But I had gotten the answers and stuff like a bit because I created the answers, questions and stuff like before I really presented. So the, for my end, the question part was a bit late. So I'm not sure like what should this time around try to make sure the questions are like they sound right and then try to use it uh, better this time around and then get
So where would you use it?
um I think for the paper it did say I need it for a little bit of the background knowledge of the kid, the background of the kid. So that's where I was trying to use it for, and then like a little bit about the kid, but more about the kid.
Yeah, like that's one way to use it. So one is information on the student. Another one is this. Take a look at this. You have to explain the data.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's another section where you could explain your notes, the answers at the teacher. But I just don't know like what your intentions are with with the questionnaire, with the questions
The
for the
quest
teacher.
it was really to get this part, the in the beginning part, the introduction, like get the background of the kid kind of thing, and then how they learn in the classroom, and then kind of see, am I looking at the right stuff and from the observation?
Yeah, okay, we can go back to the questions and I can take a look,
Mm-hmm.
but okay, yeah, no, you would need an answer to those questions so you can complete the introduction.
Yeah, that's where those questions for like the teacher and the parent was kind of for, and I created those. It was kind of for here and the make it connect to those other parts.
Yeah, we can go through the questions if you would like.
This is what I have. The teacher.
It says, can you tell me a bit about the student's interest and personality? How would you describe the student's overall behavior and participation in your classroom? So you're talking about personality and behavior. What are the student's
I think
strengths
for
academically and
this
socially?
this beginning part was kind of like see if it's like social emotional, if no kind of with the personality and the
Okay.
behavior and stuff to see, and then if it's am I in the right with the right choosing of what I'm observing.
Well, so far, they're all having to do with the student's personality,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And their behavior. In what areas does the student seem to need the most support? So it's about their performance in school. You have noticed any chances in their academic progress again, focusing on how therapy might affect them. How does the student interact with peers? Are there also patterns? You're really focusing a lot on behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Are there moments when the student shows exceptional growth through encouragement, responsive structure? So not all of these will pertain to an introduction, right? Some of them are like specifically about how the student is doing.
So right now it doesn't really seem I'm getting background from here.
What do you think? If you're asking me more about how I'm behaving, is that really background? Background is more like what your culture, right?
Because
Your
I don't think the teachers would really get that, even though they might a little bit.
Well, here it kind of helps you out here. It says highlights family culture. So another question you could ask them is like, what type of family do they have? Like both parent, mother, and father. Or you can ask what languages does the student speak? Yeah, right?
Mhm.
The gender of the student.
I think I kind of asked about that in the family one compared to the teacher one. Is the questions are a bit different.
Yeah, well, for your intro though, if you're
Mm-hmm.
doing an intro, it has to be these type of broad
Yeah.
questions. So like, Do they speak any other languages?
Mm-hmm.
Simple, start very general. How old are they?
Mm-hmm.
Their gender. How many languages do they speak? What type of family structure do they have? What are their cultural backgrounds? That's 5 very
Mhm.
broad questions. That's what you need for an introduction. The other questions related to their progress, how therapy has influenced them, they're good questions and they probably belong somewhere else, but not in an introduction.
Okay, yes, yes. Hmm. Okay, so it would kind of be just another part of
It
the
would
paper.
probably be under here or data organization, one of these two,
Mm-hmm.
because it says you gotta says the types of data collected are described. So maybe here's where you can describe those other questions about how therapy impacted a student.
Mm-hmm.
But those are very specific questions related to behavior and performance, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have no room in an introduction. That's just focusing on background.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So okay.
So for your intro, it's important for you to stick to these broader questions that are going to help you understand who the student is, not how they act or how they behave, but who they are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because for the parent one, it's different. I asked about the. I'm not sure. Is this more of like the background questions?
So that's a good one. Are there other languages? Yes, that's a good one too.
Or would these be okay for both?
It would be good for an intro. I don't see this. I don't know if these would necessarily fit for the observation. They might, but definitely for an intro, yeah.
Like, would I ask these questions like for the teacher and the parent, or just the teacher?
Who do you think can answer these questions best?
Hmm. Um, I think the parent, but for some of them, the teacher can answer
Yeah.
some of them.
I would write down next where you think, who do you think can answer? For example, languages other than English spoken at home. You say home, so that's probably for a parent,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then
Yeah.
you go on to ask, can you tell me about your child's age, interest and personality? Both of them can probably answer that, a teacher or a parent.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me a little bit about his family? Would you be willing to share your current occupation and that of your child's other parent or guardian? So this is obviously for the parent.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They seem to be
Yes.
for you, these for the parent.
More for
Does
the
he have
parent.
any pets at home? The teacher may or may not know that.
Mm-hmm.
So these are definitely, they seem to be for the parent.
Does these questions seems more about like the background questions then?
Absolutely, yeah. Because the other ones are more related to the student in the classroom. This is about the student's background.
So would this more be for the parent to answer than I get the introduction part, right?
Yeah, I mean, we agree that it
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
good for an introduction,
Mhm.
that we agree. But look at the question, how does he have any pets at home? At home.
Mhm.
So who would answer that better?
The parent.
The parent. Does he communicate and interact with other family members? Who would answer that best?
The parent.
The parent. So these questions seem to be for the parent. And they're not specific questions, they're background questions. Because you're getting to know the student. So they would fit where?
This
background.
in the beginning, the introduction.
Yeah.
Would I if I want to have some of the questions answered by the teacher, would I just take some of them out from here and then give another version of this to the teacher?
Why would you do that?
Kind of to see how they do in the classroom. That's what those questions you see before. That's what I was trying to get.
Yeah, the ones that you showed me first, I think would be suitable for a teacher. However, I don't know if a teacher can answer this one. She doesn't live in the home.
Yeah.
So yeah, the first ones you showed me about how the student is doing after therapy, perfect for a teacher. But these, not so much.
Mhm.
These are perfect for parents.
Okay. I think for this, I don't know. I'm not sure if the kid will have the therapy part, but so far the questions uh does seems like the background, right, for the kid about the kid.
What do you think?
Mm, it seems that it does, but like so called when I have asked this question, it has said they only spoke English at home. I was trying to see if they like spoke another language, but they had just said they spoke English at home. Not another language, so I'm not sure what I need to kind of like say. Do you speak another language? Well,
But your question was what? If these are questions for the teacher or for the, is that your question or for the parent?
I mean, like it was for the parent these questions, but like when the parent had answered this question, they it just said they speak English at home, but not didn't said they speak another kind.
So you would answer the question. You would say that no, not only English.
Hmm.
You're asking the question so you could receive an answer.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong answers,
Mhm.
right? It's just answering the question.
Mm.
But these are very like introductory questions, yes.
This one for sure. Okay.
All of these, yeah.
Mhm.
They're about getting to know the student.
And but how would I, if I want to ask the teacher some questions, like not really these, maybe these, but like a different version of this, like how would I ask the question if I were to ask some questions like these, similar to this, but not these?
Then what is it that you want to know from the teacher? Because these are all related to
Yeah, the
student's
mainly the
background.
background of the kid, like for this would be the intro. I think is for the teacher is the am I the observation part that I'm trying to look for the correct how like correct. That's what I was trying to do with the teacher questions. That's what I was trying
So
to do.
I wouldn't confuse them, like these, I specifically says also family questions.
Mm-hmm.
So these do not go anywhere but for the family.
Mm-hmm.
These do not belong, these aren't for you to ask the teacher at all,
Mm-hmm.
right? These are just for the family. So if you wanted to ask these for the teacher, I don't know if it would be valuable for you because I don't know that the teacher can answer any of these things.
Mm-hmm.
They might, some of them they might be able to answer because they spend a lot of time with the student. But
Mm-hmm.
a lot of these, like for example, how the student interacts with family members, like there's a huge possibility that the teacher won't be able to answer that question, no matter how you frame it. Why? Because the student doesn't live with the family or the teacher. So what I would do is I would use these as intro to understand background information on the student and to identify the student. And I wouldn't confuse these with questions for the teacher.
Okay. Okay, yes. This for the but do the questions make sense so far?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have to use all of them? No, it's up to you to decide what you need for your intro, right? Like,
The
how much information do I need to know about the student?
I think with the pet part was kind of like see if they have a pet, would they kind of like talk to the pet in some ways? Like if they have a cat or dog, how would they interact? Like, there would be the interaction part. But like if they don't have any, that I would just take that part out.
Yeah, Again, some of the questions you may use, some of them you may not use them. Right?
Mhm.
The goal, oh, never lose focus of the goal. The goal is for you to provide me with enough background information
Mhm.
so I can know who the student is.
Okay. Would these words kind of connect to what we were talking about, like the language, the social emotion,
And what?
the language, cognitive and social emotion?
So it says, have any teachers ever mentioned any concerns regarding your child's learning, behavior, attention, or social interaction? What was the concern? Why? You can,
That's what I think. That's what I was
guess,
trying to do here. With it. Like the wording might be not really there. With,
I think that it's really important that you don't confuse the questions for your teacher and for the family.
okay.
Keep them separate. Can you ask a teacher this directly? You can. You can ask the teacher about the child because it has to do with the child's learning.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also ask the parent.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can ask both of them. If you want to get more like hands-on, like more reliable, who would it be? The parents or the teacher?
I think for this one, more the
The
teacher.
teacher, right? Because
But
the
like,
teacher's the one
yeah.
spending time.
But I think for this portion, when I was asking it, it was kind of see if the teacher had told them, like, given them there maybe some, those like parent meeting part time, said about the kids, to see.
Yeah, I mean, you could use the question for that to find out how much time the parents spend with the student, with their
Mm-hmm.
learning, with their schooling. You can do that too.
Mm.
But I can't stress enough that you gotta, like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's a reason why you're asking the parent questions,
Mm-hmm.
because you want to know specific knowledge about the student's
Mm-hmm.
background and identity, right?
Yeah, that part is what the intro part is.
And the other questions that are more related to behavior and performance it's more for the teacher.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm. So, like, if I have these questions answered, would it be okay to then kind of start the observation, or how would I really do it then? If,
So to start the observation, first of all, you have to arrange it, right?
yeah, yeah,
Once you arrange it, you should have an idea of what tools you're going to use, so you can start
yeah,
jotting that down. Um, you can proceed with the observation and then conduct the observation, or you can meet with the parents before the observation, which is probably better to do, to ask them these questions. So you could get some background information about the student and the family.
yeah. Mm.
You could do it either or as long as they're both completed.
Because, I think I can only have. I think this Friday I was planning to observe the kids, but not really have the kid yet.
Mhm.
So yeah. I think one of the first observation would be to like see which kid I really want to observe and then see if the parent agree to it. Because it needs the agreement, the consent from the parent.
So you haven't done that yet?
That part I haven't found it. So I need to find the kid and then get the consent. That part is kind of
So it's like you come in here, you get an understanding of
hmm
what the assignment is.
hmm
What questions for intro, what questions for observation, what questions for the teacher, what questions for the parents. You have to get that other stuff done first. Like decide who your student is going to be able to like get acknowledgement that you can observe them.
hmm
That has to be done before any of this. You even focus on this.
hmm Yeah, okay. So I should try to find the kid sometime this week because
As soon as you
I
can.
present in November, like
Yeah, I would do it now.
like the first full week after Halloween. So
I would do it now.
Okay.
And-
Because I'm not sure if the kids will, if I were to choose a kid, will the kid be going on a vacation within these 3 weeks? So
I don't think there's any holidays in October. There was one yesterday, I think, right?
yeah, the Columbus or the
But the-
Indigenous,
Yeah, other than that, I don't think there's a holiday until Thanksgiving.
because that was the other like problem maybe for me if I chose the kid and then all of a sudden that kid is not there when I'm there trying to observe the kid. So
Well, no, that's where you gotta plan it out,
yeah.
right? You
Mhm.
gotta, but this all needs to happen before you even dig into these
Mhm.
questions. You have to look at your calendar, see what's open,
Mm-hmm.
how much time you're going to need, and then identify a student, talk to the parent and or the teacher and make sure they're okay with it, receive that confirmation that it's okay, and then proceed with your observations.
Maybe I'll try to ask tomorrow. So then would it be I ask the teachers first and then see if they have like a kid I have in mind I might be able to observe, or how would I really ask?
So this, you would have to probably ask your instructor. That, I don't know how
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
program works.
Because the how the consent form it looks like this. Oops, not that. That's the consent form looks like this. This is what the consent form looks like. And
Okay,
I will write my name here, and then they would sign down here.
okay. So the form is just giving a consent, but it doesn't provide instructions on whether the school will do it for you or whether you have to do it yourself. I don't know. So maybe you want to ask your instructor if you're supposed to find a student on your own or if the school will help you.
I meant because like when I had done this one, I had kind of asked kind of see, do you have a kid in mind I might be able to do this assignment on? She said maybe a kid that she called on a few times. So that's how I chose a kid that time around. So I'm not sure like would this one be kind of like that too. So, because I haven't been in that classroom with this new bunch of kids yet, so
That's a good question for your instructor. Like I would ask them, like, what's the best way of finding a student to work with? Because I just don't know.
yeah, but this week I don't have class. It's only the midterm, so what? And then she does answer emails, but not all the time. So
Yeah, that's difficult. I mean, but
and I
and I,
think she does have the office hours on Zoom during like after class time.
yeah, to take advantage of those
Mm-hmm.
because I can't stress how
Mm-hmm.
important that is that you take care of this before you even look at the
Yeah,
questions.
yeah.
Because you can focus all your time on those questions and never get to this and never finish your observation. Like this
Yeah,
needs to
this
happen.
part is for sure the like and
Mhm.
then you can start really kind of start doing it. Okay. Um, yeah, we'll see my professor this week on Thursday to see am I in the right going the right direction with the
Well,
choosing.
I would be more specific. I would say, how do I go about finding a student to observe?
Because I think she did allow a toddler to be observed for this assignment, even though it's for preschool and kindergarten. She did allow to observe a toddler.
Perhaps, right? But it's important for you to ask your instructor, like,
Mhm.
how do you go about finding a child to observe? And he or she should be able to point you in the right direction. They may know somewhere you can go, or they might, or he or she might tell you you
Because
have
I'm
to
not
find one on your own.
because I'm not doing the clinical, so I don't really get to interact with these preschool, kindergarten age kids. Mainly with the younger ones right now, and so that part is kind of hard to really find the time to interact with these preschool age. Even though I did make one day each during the week to maybe do this assignment, the Fridays. So yeah.
Yeah, in terms of like your planning, that's going to be a little more difficult, right? Like you gotta find time to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm in the same situation, like I have the community service hours for
Mhm.
my education program, and I gotta find a way to fit them into my schedule.
Mhm. Mm, okay. Um,
But yeah, that's the first step is finding a student you could observe.
mm, yeah. Uh, then would for this part, would I kind of talk more to the professor first or to those teachers?
What teachers?
That's the teacher at the daycare, okay, to find the kid, or but ask my professor.
What do you think?
Um, my professor, but like, I don't really get to see her, even though she might answer my email, but she doesn't really reply.
It's definitely your professor.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause your professor is the one that's giving you this assignment.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you gotta have a clear understanding if your professor wants you to go to a specific school, if they have children you can work with, or if they want you to find your own student. And if they want you to find your own student, that's when you go and talk to one of the teachers where you want to observe a child. But first, talk to your instructor.
I think I am so for choosing my own kid, but that part is the age range is. Should I really still do the preschool one, or like can I do the toddlers, the younger ones?
Well, what type of teacher do you want to be?
Um, I um, I think I really want to just mainly be in the daycare classroom, not really in the CPS. So do mainly the younger ones, but this assignment is like for preschool to or kindergarten, so maybe try to do that age group. So I'm not really sure. That's why.
Well, my advice to you would be to find a group that's closest to the group that you want to teach. Because this is supposed to give you practice and like knowledge so that you can use it once you become a teacher.
Because for the kids that I'm working with, the toddlers, not all of them are talking. So if I were to observe the talking one, the language one, I can't really find much from it. And then yeah, that's kind of where I'm stuck. If I were to do what I have chose, like the language, cognitive, and social emotion, the language part, I don't think I really can find anything or like observe much from that part
And maybe it's not a good choice.
for the younger group because not all of them can talk. So
Then I wouldn't choose that. I wouldn't do that. You have to make this relevant for you, right? Like
mhm.
you're here to learn. So pick something that's closest to the group that you want to teach.
Mhm.
It is, unfortunately, we're down to like the last 2 minutes.
Mhm.
So I would like to talk about next steps.
Yeah.
What you need to do, find out if you have to find your own child or whether the teacher will, your instructor will give you a child to observe. You have to find that out. Like send an email today because that's number one priority. Two is identify what type of child, if you're given the choice to pick your own,
Mhm.
identify where and what type of child you want to observe. Those are the next two things that you need to take care of.
Mhm.
Then we can start talking about the questions and the rest.
Okay.
That's the only way you're gonna get the ball rolling, is if you have a child to observe.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The other things will fit in place, but we have to get you a child to observe.
Yeah. The kid part was because I was also like not sure with any of those kids if I were to choose were gonna be going on vacation because some of them might during this time.
Find that out once you know what, that you can find your own child and that, and you find out and you also identify what type of child. You worry about where to fit it in once you identify that first.
Yeah, okay.
You'll do it by talking to the teacher.
Okay,
And he or she will probably let you know, no, you can't do it on this day because we're on vacation.
okay, yeah, okay.
So next steps, what's number one priority?
For about the kid, find the kid, and then,
Yeah.
make sure, like, about the age group
Yes.
of the kid.
Please focus on that.
Yeah.
Take care of that. Because again, November can come really quick.
Yeah,
And
just
if you don't have a child, you're gonna be in a tough situation.
Yeah, yeah, that part. Because that's because that day I chose as like the last time to present, so that's the last day to present. So, yeah, that's the last day to present.
Okay. Well, it seems to me like you know what you need to do,
Yeah.
like immediate, like first thing. So I'm going to end our session.
Mhm.
I'll write some notes
Mhm.
and then I'll share them. I'm gonna write that in person. We discuss. Intent. Then I'll keep it pretty broad first.
Mhm.
And then I'll say we met in person. We discussed the content necessary for the introduction. The observation site. Um. Please find out if you have to locate your own student or if the student's gonna, or the teacher, instructor's gonna provide you with one. Please find that out as soon as you can. And then pinpoint what type of student you want to observe. We need to take care of that so you can start the assignment.
Yeah. It's kind of like I am not even there yet to start it with this because of this, and this is kind of the start for me
Part
to.
of the start, right? But get the ball rolling on this, or else I just don't want to see you like at the last minute trying to find a student. It's gonna be difficult for you.
Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And when you're ready to talk about drafting that essay, come see us.
Okay. I would love to produce that's the library. Where, if you could bring the floor, like okay, okay, that's great.
Hi. On my little Google Calendar, I think I canceled this coming Friday's appointment and rescheduled, but the Friday appointment still shown on my calendar.